This lesson, I want to add in some additional styling into the website. So just some more default stuff. As you can see here, we're relatively completed with our project. Everything's resizing, so everything looks pretty good. We might need to add in some padding around the submenu here because it doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to just go over to here, and I want to add in the padding on anything over the 480. So this one was the secondary one, so let's just add in some padding here, so maybe 5 pixels. So it makes it a little bit more presentable, so the content isn't right up to that side menu and border. We've got our different pages and everything's working properly, so we had added in that jQuery navigation section that automatically selects the one that we're on. So let's just go through our CSS code and just to make sure that we've actually hit on all of the different points that we were looking at. So usually when you start out with your CSS, you want to get the main pieces of content. So maybe I want to add in some images into my web page. And one of the things with images, making them responsive, you want to make sure that they're not going oversized. You want to make sure that they're fitting on the page and so on. And sometimes this is difficult with your content when you're resizing. So for instance, let me go back over to here, and I'm going to use a website called Lorem Pixel in order to get some dummy images. So they have the ability to select an image here. You can select a bunch of different types of images here. I can be really more specific. So essentially this is the width, and then that's the height of the image. So if I'm just going to take this and see what random image they're going to allow us to throw into our index page. So going in here, maybe if I want to put an image in here. So 400 by 200, let's go take a look at our web page. So we see that we get this image placed in here. But one of the problems here is that it's trying to take up too much real estate and it's getting hidden underneath that submenu. So that's definitely a problem and something that we really should address within our responsive design, because we want to be looking at responsive and delivering our content in a responsive fashion. So let's update our width to be 100%. And we can see what happens here is that this gives us a max width, but we're actually asking for a max width of the available space. So whenever we have more than 100 pixels, then we see that it sizes and it stacks itself within the rest of the code. But we see whenever we don't have that available real estate, it's not gonna stick out underneath or outside of the available spacing. So it's only going to take up 100%. So this is one of the really important things that we should add in to our website, is just this way of handling images. So besides that, a lot of times you're going to see as well how H1s are handled, how H2s are handled. So sometimes you might want to set the font height of it and so on. So you see something like font size, and then we want to make it responsive, so 1.5 EM and so on. So the only one I had was as an H1 is this one up here. So you may or may not want to do this. You might want to stick with the H2s. So I believe I had these ones as H2s. So these ones are going to get more affected. So let's stick with the H2s. Maybe we want to update those margins. We want to change maybe so we've done the font size. We should always do that line height as well. So to accommodate the different sizes, so let's try slightly underneath so maybe we can do a 9 EM. So this gives us a little bit smaller line height than we normally by standard would have. We can also do a font weight. We can do a margin on that font. We could also change that font family, so we could do that as well if we wanted to make something different that stands out. So let's go back over to our browser here and let's pick another Google font that we want to use. So I'm going to shrink that one down and let's try something So maybe this one. So I'm going to actually unselect that one that we had already selected and open up this one here. So I can just really easily utilize it here. So now I've got this one selected and I can bring this one in on the import. So do something similar to what we did in the last one. And then font family. And it's H2. Open up our window, check that out. So now we've got, for our headings, we've got a different font, and we can also do a bunch of different things here as well as needed within our main font styling. So sometimes you might see as well that we've got some customized styling for a particular page. So we've got 3 different pages here, but we're using relatively that same styling, but maybe in the About section we've got some particular information we want to display in a different way. So let's just open that up. So now we're going to go over to the contact area. And then maybe we want to present this in a way that we've got, maybe if we have a form on here and we want to present our form content, so maybe we had some types here and so on, so a few different types of inputs. And so on. So maybe we want to present this in a different format as we would any other inputs within our web page. So we want to be really specific with that. So there's a number of different ways we could do that. We could do a wrapper ID and we could add in a class. So maybe this would be the About page or something like that. And then this allows us to identify it within the CSS. So we don't have to do a specific CSS for that page, and we can just reuse it if we want, and we only have to open up that one CSS page in order to provide that styling. So let's do something like, if we've got an input, and this is just going to be some really basic stuff, so width 100, because of course everyone needs to style their content the way that they want to style it. So now we've got full width across, and then we could just build out from here as we need to. So we can also be specific if we want to only do it for specific types. So let's go back to that CSS. I think unfortunately I've got that one down there. So it's leading to a little bit of confusion. But we can be specific if we want with our CSS. So if I only want it type equals text, and save that. So now whenever I go there, so our submit button goes back to the normal size. We can do something like we can add in a border here. So if I want to do one pic solid, and maybe by default we want to start out with a blue border, and maybe we want to do border radius, so make it rounded slightly, so 5 pixels radius. So check that out, see what that looks like. So now it doesn't really look that nice, but hey, we're just trying out just different styling options here. So maybe this is how you want to present your contact form and so on. So a lot of different options here. We could also update the backgrounds and so on. So background. So maybe I want it to be dark gray. And then maybe also we want to update the color of the font as well. So maybe we want to make that font white and so on. So a lot of different options, and this is how we can be more page specific on the particular the particular styling per page. So we don't, we can keep it within one style sheet, and we can go have it across our entire website, but be more specific for the particular pieces of content that we do want to update and work with.